Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
In 1957, Walter Hagen bought his first home, and that home was in the state of Michigan at Long Lake near Interlocking. And the last part of his life, Walter, you lived up in that part and enjoyed the hunting and fishing and also a little bit of the good life.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful place to be, and what a wonderful place to spend the rest of your life.
Let's travel back and take a look at those years of the Hague's life.
Hold on a second, guys. We'll be right there. So here I am at the Little Bohemian, or the Little Bo as it was like to be called. This became my haunt, my hangout for most of my years in Traverse City. Ask most people around the area, this is where they know me from. It was a great place to come and just relax and enjoy my famous Pfeiffer beer, and also to spin my tales of what I had done. Most of the time I bought, so most of the time people listened. At that point in time, I'd sold off my golf club business to Wilson, and they were obliged to pay me $100,000 a year for pretty much giving them my name. All in all, not a bad trade. And all in all, playing a little pool, hanging out with friends, telling about the things I'd done, made me pretty happy. Then one day, I was watching the television, and it was the British Open. And I saw a young golfer who impressed me so much, I gave him a call.
Walter Hagen was a man that was one of my great friends, I call him, because when I won the British Open at Birkdale the first year, and I was in the bar having a drink, and the phone rang, and it was Walter Hagen. And I was very flattered, and I said hello, and we talked, and we had talked before, and he was my kind of man. So I came here for that celebration, and we laughed and talked about the differences in what had happened in his time and my time, and at the time I was smoking, and he was smoking, big time. And we were drinking a little too. Yeah, big time.
Become a big timer.
And we just, it's sort of a magic mark. We enjoyed each other's company, and we corresponded. And he called me, as I said, at the British Open, and when I won. And
what a thrill.
Excuse me.
What a thrill. I mean,
it was a great thrill for me, and that struck up a friendship, and I was a pallbearer in his funeral also.
We were going out back and forth to the great British Isles, playing some of the British out there. A man by the name of Samuel Ryder took a great interest in golf. Along the way, he started playing with a pro named Abe Mitchell, which, by the way, is the man who was on the Ryder Cup. Little piece of trivia. Still not quite certain why it's not Walter Hagen, but nonetheless, we started playing there a little bit, and so I captained the first few Ryder Cups, and we did all right. In fact, we won our first Ryder Cup on British soil under my captaincy. Now, let me give you just a few tips here on what it took to be a good golfer in that time. You've played with some of these clubs here, and I'm sure you know that it's quite a difficult feat. First of all, always arrive late to a match. That's going to put your opponent at a disadvantage, because he's going to get a little angry, a little ticked off, and that can help you out. I've made all sorts of people wait, including the Ambassador of Japan and Dwight D. Eisenhower. But I still beat him. Second of all, know the rule book back and forth. On more times than I can count, it has saved me. On one occasion, my ball was stuck so deep, I thought it might go all the way down to China. But I knew the rules, and I knew I could examine to make sure it was my ball. I picked up that ball, I took a look at it, it certainly was mine, and I gently placed it back where it originally was. Of course, my opponent was not very happy about that, but at the time, those are the rules, and I made par. Make sure that you have a good idea of what your opponent's up to. One time I was playing Mike Brady in a playoff, and Mike had rolled up his sleeves, getting ready for a nice long 18-hole set here. And I told Mike that he should probably roll down his sleeves. He said, why? I said, because the gallery can see your arms shaking. I don't know if I made him nervous. I don't know. I was just trying to help the man, but he did hit a 6 on that par 4, and I did happen to win by 1 stroke. So, and finally, and most importantly, make the easy shots look hard and make the hard shots look easy. If you've got an easy shot coming up, you take your time on that. You study it. You pick up a different club and put it back. You check the wind. Do whatever you can, and then you sink that putt. And if you've got a hard shot, grab whatever club you can find and hit it as quickly as you can. Because if it's that hard of a shot, you've got nothing to lose. If you mishit it, it was a hard shot. But if by some miracle you hit that shot and it goes anywhere in the general direction of the green, you have gotten into your opponent's head and he thinks you have some sort of voodoo on your side. I did come out in the later years out here at Traverse City, and boy, let me tell you, what a place this is. I'd sit down at the Little Bohemian or the Little Bo out there and weave stories to anyone who wanted to hear them. Of course, I was always buying, so usually a lot of people wanted to hear those stories. I did have that wonderful party in 1967. I had some problems, some illnesses, and I wasn't unable to speak. But the wonderful thing about it is when you've lived a life that richly, you get enough friends together, they'll speak for you. And at that party, I heard stories about me I hadn't heard in years, some of which I didn't remember. So why did I play golf? Besides the money, which was wonderful, but I spent it as much as I could because I wanted to have a good time. I wanted myself to have a good time. I wanted the people out there watching to have a good time. I firmly believe you have to entertain the gallery. If they're paying enough money to watch you, you've got to put on a show. I sometimes think sports people these days don't understand that anymore. That if they're paying their good hard money, by God, you've got to put on a show for them. Even if it means you're going to hit it on the lake, because you're here by the graces of them. I enjoyed every minute that I played. Well, that young Mr. Palmer eventually turned out to be one heck of a player. He was also a kindred spirit. We shared a lot in common, became good friends. And eventually, in 1967, he returned the favor by coming out here to the Traverse City Golf and Country Club for my last, and I'd say, greatest party I ever had. Letters came in from all across the country. From people like President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Bob Hope, Byron Nelson, and even Bobby Jones. Yeah, I don't think I can think of any better way for the Hague to go out than for a party to end all parties. You're only here for a short visit. Don't hurry, don't worry. And be sure to smell the flowers along the way.